Walleye and Sauger are a couple of popular members of the perch family. On this week's episode, Jake Romanack teams up with head-to-head tournament pro and river guide Mike Hansen of Starved Rock Guide Service to explore the winter jigging opportunities on the Illinois River. Mike runs river charters all winter for those who aren't afraid to break a little ice en route to a limit catch. The weather might be brutal, but the Sauger bite has our boy saying, just one more drift over and over again.
There we go.
Hooked up, buddy. Let's go swing him in.
Nice job, Jake.
Look at that. That is so cool. He tunked it too. There was no question he was there, man.
All right.
Let's show this little guy off. Saugers. It's the name of the game today. We're on the Illinois River with my buddy Mike. We're going to talk a lot about how to catch these fish today, but it's cold. Let me tell you, it is cold. I'm an ice fisherman and I think it's cold. So we're out here catching saugers, Illinois River. We're going to brave the temperatures and we're going to catch a pile of these saugers.
There's a fatty. That's the ones we're looking for right there. That's the reason why you come to the Illinois River right there, boys. That right there. How fat that thing is.
That is a good fish, isn't it?
That's a beautiful looking fish. That's the Illinois River sauger right there. So fishing here on the Illinois River is a little bit different when we come out here, especially in the fall and the wintering months. So a lot of the technique that I like to use down here is called a hovering technique. Take your jig and you just send it down onto the river bottom and you let that jig not crash into the bottom, but you want to let it just touch the bottom, and that's following your line down with your rod. And as you touch that jig head down, you want to slowly pick it up and you want to hover it. And what it does is the current keeps that bait right off the bottom and you're hovering it. It's a more natural presentation for these fish because honestly, I've never seen a minnow jump up and jump down, jump up and jump down in the river system. It's a more natural bait, natural presentation for that jig head to drop down and slowly work its way. If you drop it down too fast, you're going to have a bow in your line. What happens is these fish suck it in and suck it out so fast that you won't even recognize that you have a bite. So keeping that tight line on this this presentation here, like that one there, actually I just had a bite. Keeping a tight line on this type of presentation is very important, because if I did not have a tight line right there, I would not have picked up on that bite right like that. Do you get them all the time? No, because right now it's wintering time. There's some of them are nipping at the tails, That's why we went ahead and added the stinger hook on here. When we add that stinger hook, we can get them short striking fish to bite. They suck that stinger hook in. I don't like to hook my stinger into whether it be a minnow or any kind of plastic. I let it free fall back there, and then when they go ahead and suck it in, it sucks that stinger in, and when they go to push it out, you'll take that stinger in and pretty much hook them up in the mouth. So it just so happens in this river system here, this technique in this presentation works stellar.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that fish. You know, one of the things we're finding today is that these fish are just changing what they want. We're catching a fish on a multitude of different things. Most of our fish have come on hair jigs. We've caught some fish on plastics, so be willing to adapt with it. So change out different plastics, change out different colors, change out different hair jigs, and you'll catch a lot of fish. But that right there is a good Illinois sauger. Normally when you hear about a sauger bite, a lot of times you're going to hear of those, honest to God, they're going to be talking about 8 to 14-inch fish. That's pretty common in the world of sauger fishing. The sauger is a really cool species of fish. They're aggressive, they like to eat. So you know I like them. Here we go. Just
Fish
like
on.
that. Just like that. So cool.
Just another hovering, no real bite, Jake. He's just laying on it. Oh, look at that one.
That's
Look
a
at that one. That's a
beautiful
nice
fish
one right there, buddy. Look how fat that guy is. Now we're talking. He's got a stinger hook in his mouth from another angler that must have broke off.
I was wondering if you're trying to do a double stinger thing when you pull them up. I'm like, what are you doing to me over there, Mike? But now you broke it off from another fisherman, huh?
I can't have my buddy coming down from Michigan and putting the show on me down here on my own home water here in Illinois. That'd be pretty tough for the Starbright Guide Service guys over here.
Special considerations are provided by Trailmaster Trailers and Daiwa Corporation. Special considerations are provided by ProCure, ruthlessly effective bait sense.
Mike.
Oh wow,
That's a nice fish too.
Nice fish, Jake.
Very nice fish. Wow, did he hit it hard.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take a sec. I'm gonna get my gloves off.
Smoked it, huh?
He smoked it. Wow, take a look at that sauger. That is a good fish right there. That's 17, 17-incher would be my guess. I don't have a bunk board with me, but thick. And you talk about a fish that just absolutely pile drives that bait. I'm just holding on a tight line and boom, just about ripped the rod out of my hand. So cool. Man, what a pretty fish.
You know, like the one that Jake just caught there, that was about a 17-inch fish. That's a very nice fish for this system. And when these fish get, they get different calibers of fish. From that 12 to 15, you get a different looking fair colored fish. And then them 15 to 17s, they fight a little bit harder. And then when you get them 17 to 20-inch fish, I'm going to tell you, they look completely different than the fish that are 18 inches and under. They get real black head. They get that shovel nose face. They almost look like, to be honest with you, it looks like a monitor lizard. That's exactly what they look like. So when they get that real black looking the distinctive spots on their sides, we call them OGs, or original gangsters of the river system. And when you get one, it's really unique. The color patterns on them, they really stand out and make such a beautiful looking fish.
Feels like a pretty good fish.
Yeah, need another that guy, buddy?
I think I'll just swing him in. It doesn't feel that big, but
okay.
Bulldogging pretty good.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a walleye?
Look at that.
All
That
right.
actually is a walleye. It's not a bad walleye either. Let's show him off. Wow. Mike's been telling me that the Illinois River system is seeming to get more and more walleyes. Now this is primarily a sauger fishery, but it is cool to see these walleyes showing up in catchable numbers, and caught some walleyes today. So not a giant walleye by any stretch of the imagination, but just seeing them come back in this river and seeing them come back strong is really cool. That's beautiful fish.
On the graph, laying there on the graph. So this is typically what you're going to see on looking for our fish here on the river system. You're going to see the bottom here, and then you're going to see that little bit of thickness in that line. That's a fish. Because we're going so slow, it's going to spread that fish out, so it looks like not too much of them hooks that you normally see up on Lake Erie, Saginaw Bay, and all them bigger lakes where they suspend and they got them arches. We don't have that here. These fish typically are sucked tight to the bottom. A lot of these fish, absolutely in the springtime, you're going to see mud laying on. Jake's got one.
hooked up, buddy. You know, this bite so far this morning has been pretty good. You know, we've caught quite a few fish to start it off, but you can see that fish right here is on that stinger hook. And again, it was just kind of mushy, and that's probably the toughest bite to explain to someone as a jig fisherman. That one bite where you just feel a thunk in the line, everybody knows that bite. But that mushiness bite, that's the tough one to kind of learn. It takes time on the water to learn that bite, but once you get it, you're going to catch a pile of fish. And in this situation, it just kind of felt like a wet rag, I guess is the best way to describe it. Just a little bit heavier. Whenever you feel any kind of weight, set the hook. Hook sets are free, and you'll catch a pile of fish. That's a nice one right there. You know, if you've watched Fishing 411 before, you've probably seen us use Procure. We pretty much use it all the time, adding scent to our baits. But one of the things when you're fishing a hair jig is you really can't use that super gel. Now, you've seen us use super gel a ton. It's real sticky and it stays on the bait really well. But what happens with these hairs on a hair jig is it'll mat it down and you ruin the action. You ruin the whole point of the hair jig itself. And so Procure's actually teamed up with Yakima Bait Company, and they've made something they call the Rooster Tail Spray Scent. Basically, it's a water-soluble type scent, and you can spray it on the actual hair of the jig. Gives you that scent that you're looking for, but it doesn't mat the actual feathers down on that hair jig. It's pretty much the ideal product for adding scent to your bait without ruining that beautiful action of the hair jig itself.
All right, the Illinois River is absolutely known for the sauger fishing, but after a few years back, we've been starting to notice that we've been getting a lot of walleyes, and I think that's due to the Asian carp that you know, it's putting a lot of forage in the system, and these walleyes are following these Asian carp as well as the saugers are too. One typical Illinois River walleye that you will be catching out here, if you do decide to come out and do a little bit of sauger fishing, you're going to get a few of these in the mix.
Special considerations are provided by Cisco Fishing Systems and Striker brands. Go early, go late, go prepared. Additional considerations provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Trolling without a fishhawk is called boating. Eagle Claw presents the 411 on fishing.
Hey, we're at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare, Michigan today, and what better place to talk a little bit about trolling reels. And if you're into trolling, obviously you need line counter trolling reels to monitor your lead lengths and to be as effective as possible out in the water. We've been using Daiwa products for many years now, and if you're a line counter guy, you're going to want to look at the 4 different line counters that they offer. They essentially have a line counter reel that's perfect for every use and every budget. And we'll start out here with the least expensive one. This is called the AccuDepth. And at about a $70 price point, this is a good reel to get a person that's entry-level person, maybe a guy that only fishes occasionally, wants to just sample this whole trolling thing. You really can't beat the AccuDepth for the price. It's a high-quality reel at a reasonable price. If you want to spend a little bit more and you're looking for a reel that's going to last literally your lifetime, you might want to take a look at the C-Lines. Now, the C-Line reel has been around forever, and I've been using these reels the better part of 30 years. You just can't wear out a C-Line, and at $110, you just can't beat the value. So a C-Line is for that hardcore guy that wants something that's going to last forever. Now, let's go a little bit different here. What about the low-profile line counters? This is becoming very popular. You can see this reel is half the size of the C-Line, so it's smaller, it's lighter, has a little bit less line capacity, but for a lot of trolling applications, for example, walleye trolling, it's got plenty of line capacity. So the Lexa comes in an LC version, which is you're going to be able to pick a 100, a 300, and a 400. This happens to be the 300, middle-of-the-road reel at about $200. If you're looking for a light, low-profile package, you are not going to beat the Lexa. Now, let's go to the top end. New this year, the Saltus is redesigned, and this reel is something special. If you're a pro, if you're a tournament guy, if you're a charter captain, you fish every single day, and you want a reel that absolutely is never going to fail you, you're looking at the Saltus. At about $250 price point, it is the most expensive reel in the lineup, but it is also the reel that has the most features. So all in all, if you're looking for line counter reels, from the AccuDepth, the C-Line, the Lexa, or the Saltus, you just can't beat Daiwa.
There's a nice fish. Came on that dead stick again. He's hovering.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep, not bad. Not bad at all. switched her up a little bit, Jake. I went to that.
Went to a plastic and a minnow, huh?
Yep, went to a plastic and minnow. Stuck. I let you stay with that hair jig, and I switched her up a little bit to the plastic, and nice little fish here. So about 15 years ago, when these Asian carp came into our river system, you know, they devastated our river because they came in fully mature male and females. What they did is they choked out our river shad and shiner population throughout the system, devastated our river system, and depleted all of our game fish. And you could see that through the tournament standings. You know, our weights going from real high weights all the way down to nothing. So the Illinois Department of Natural Resources teamed up with the state representatives there, and they put on an Invasive Species Act. So what they do now is they have these gill netting boats, and they have designated areas up and down the river system, and what they do is they put a good handle on the bigger fully mature male and females, big head and silver carp in the river system. Sometimes they're bringing out over 100,000 pounds in 5 boats. So they're running, sometimes they're running 2 trips a day. So that, you know, just think about that. That's a quite good handle that they're putting on the river system here. But as they were doing that, they didn't realize that these fish, they breed 3 times a year here on our river system. What that does is it puts a lot of bait back in the system. What has happened is that when they go ahead and eat these baby Asian carp, and you'll see that as you're catching these saugers and walleyes now, what's going on is they're gorging themselves with them. They're full of protein, number one. There is so many of them that in this river system because they've already done choked out the river shad and the shiner population. So that's pretty much their basic forage right now.
Man, they are fat, and let me tell you, this is just one of those things you have to experience. You weren't kidding, Mike. This about ripped the rod out of my hand when that fish bit. It's so cool. Now that is an Illinois river sauger for you right there. Just look at how thick these fish are. I mean, the belly, they're tight. They are healthy. They're finding plenty of food in this river system, and they are so much fun to catch. Literally, I'm just tight line jigging. Drop that jig to the bottom, and I'm just holding it there. And you can see he has no problem eating that entire jig. Had the whole jig in his mouth that time, but just a solid tunk on the line. There was no question I was getting bit there. That is a pretty fish.
Special considerations are provided by Precision Trolling Data and the Lake St. Clair Walleye Association. Special considerations provided by the Ultimate Sport Show Tour, Michigan's elite sport shows.
Oh, there's one, Mike.
Another one?
Yeah, this feels pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Swing him up here. Oh, yeah. Nice fish.
Hey, Jake, that's a saugeye. Yeah?
You know, I think you're right. Yep, definitely. So we talked about saugers, we talked about walleye. You can see here, this one's got a white tip on the tail. It's got some color in the fins with a little black spot right there. So there is a saugeye. We pretty much caught them all here. Yeah. You know, that's the cool thing about the Illinois River is that it's 6 fish is your limit if you're coming here to catch them, and it's a combination of walleye, saugers, or the saugeye. 14-inch minimum on this river system right now as far as keeping fish. Of course, we've been putting fish back all day, but it's nice to know you can put a pile of these fish in the freezer, and you really never know what you're going to catch out here on the Illinois River. You know, if you're going to come to the Illinois River and you're going to target these saugers, there's a couple different types of presentation that you're going to look at. But there's different styles of vertical jigging that you can do right here in the Illinois River. And for instance, what I mean is we've caught the majority, if not all of our fish today on a hair jig like this one right here. Now this is really a cool presentation because all we've really done is just fish a hair jig with a stinger hook, and that's it. That's just that marabou flashing around down there is pretty much exactly what it's taken to get bit. So that's a really cool option, a really cool presentation. But maybe on a certain day that the hair jig just isn't getting it done, and a plastic is going to be the option for you. So there's a lot of different styles of plastics, but you're going to be looking at those 3/8 style head jigs. Half-ounce jigs are pretty much going to get it done for you out here. So here's a little plastic option, and again I have another plastic with a little paddle tail on there. So a lot of options out there to help you catch saugers on the Illinois River.
The most important things I can absolutely crucially tell you that you have to do on this river system is just not be lazy. Keep changing and you'll definitely catch fish.
Oh, there's one, Mike. Actually feels pretty good.
You got the net? I got it.
Man, the wind has picked up. It's gotten even colder. Oh yeah, that's a nice fish.
Oh yeah.
I'll swing them over by you there, Mike. You want to net them?
Got him, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Right.
Well, Mike, we have just had a ton of fun today catching these saugers. It is cold. In fact, the wind's picked up. You can see now I got my coat on just to stay warm. We got 35-degree surface temp, and then on top of that, we got the wind on top of it. So it's been a cold day, but the fish have kept it interesting. We've caught a lot of fish today. My name is Jake Romanack. You've been watching Fishing 4-in-1 television. If you get a chance, you want to come to the Illinois River, check it out. Make sure you look up my buddy Mike. All of his information will be in the credits after the show. Whew, nice fish.
Closed captioning is provided by Lakeside Motorsports, Michigan's premier marine and power sports company. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Lowrance Electronics, Starcraft Marine, Yamaha Outboards, Yakima Bait Company, Niagara Falls, USA, Smooth Moves, and Jay's Sporting Goods.
There's a fatty. That's the ones we're looking for right there. That's the reason why you come to the Illinois River right there, boys. That right there.